this is a really wonderful time to be alive, because more and more people are waking up, to the fact that they're conscious creators, to the fact that, none of this is set in stone or real. There are alternate realities, alternate timelines, alternate possibilities, and we're actually constantly shifting through different realities all the time based on our frequency. And so if our frequency is grounded and aligned with our soul, and we're in the zone, of what people call flow state, zone state. Haven't you noticed that when you're in the zone, everything is friggin' awesome? You say all the right things, all the people are happy and lovely, your hair behaves, just everything aligns, right? Then if you're not in the zone, it kind of reverses. And it's because our frequency will take us into different realities, literally different versions of Earth. And so right now, our journey is activating higher frequencies, releasing beliefs and thoughts and programs that actually keep us limited, keep us capped, keep us believing something is not possible. And the more we release that, and the more we activate and call back our soul memory, we can hold higher frequency in our fields. And that means that we live in the zone state, the flow state. It's not a state that we activate every now and then. It's our normal. It's where we reside. It's simply who we are, like oxygen. And from that place, we just get to activate and call in so much more of the fun, the play, the abundance. Tea.
You make me so excited listening to you, Gabby. I love hearing you flow. And that was what Gabby described as flow state. That's what she just showed you, and she's been showing you the whole time. So rewind and listen to that last segment again, and listen to the things that she was saying, because what Gabby is describing is just a reflection of all of us. Like, this is the beautiful thing about being a human being here as a physical expression of the same non-physical energy that is truly who all of us are, is we get to look at other humans like you described and see what other humans have done and be like, oh my gosh, that's a reflection of me. And maybe you might not be inspired to do the same thing, maybe you are, and you can put your attention and your energy on that and know that you can. We also don't need an example, which I love, because I think that's a big challenge for humanity right now, is needing to see things that we're so focused on what's already physically manifested that we're really focusing on, an energy that's already been, flowing from the past and now is currently manifesting. Like, people are looking at, what's going on in humanity right now with this virus and all these things, versus what I like to do and what I highly recommend anybody do is be able to use the things that are already physically manifested. Maybe it has been a time where I'm not feeling so well. Well, how would I like to feel? What's the state of well-being? What's the energy of well-being? How can I be that now? How can I be the frequency of that, so that can be my new state, my new reality, like Gabby was just mentioning. And that's with everything: career, health, relationships, anything. So at some point there was no chairs on the planet. Like, me and Gabby are both sitting in one right now. And
exactly. I was just thinking that. One mind. I was like, what we deem reality is not fixed. And somehow people think it's fixed, yet it's not. It's flow. It's like water. It's actually, it's electricity. It's vibration. It's constantly moving. And, what we deem as reality, and what was, what fit in the box many years ago doesn't fit in the box now. Like, there was a time in history where being voluptuous and somewhat overweight as a woman was beautiful, and white, chubby kind of women were deemed the beauty of the world. Then it shifted to skinny tan chicks. Now it's funny, because back in that old reality, skinny tanned women were actually not seen as beautiful. The whole mechanism of perception was completely different. Like, can you get that? Like, our perception, our coding, the way we experience reality can change. Yeah, and it has been changing, for as long as we can look back into history. And even now, the greatest illusion that exists is that there is one reality. And if we believe that what we see and feel and taste and smell and, experience through our senses is reality, then we're missing the bigger piece. It's kind of like we're living in one room of a massive mansion, and we're like, yep, this room is this is the house. This room is the house, and we have no friggin' idea that there's others, and we're just living in this room, oh yeah, well, this is my room. And we could step outside that door and go, whoa, there's 28 billion more rooms. Oh my gosh, there's a theater room and a billiard room and a playroom and a library and another, and there's this big kitchen, and oh my gosh, there's this ballroom, and there's so many more, you know. Yet if we're focused on believing that there's one reality and we're tuning in and tapping into that, then we're experiencing that because that's what we're tuning into. That's what our frequency is tapped into. It's like if we're, you know, if you're listening to a radio station, you press one frequency, you can't hear any other radio station. I don't care how hard you smash that dial. If you keep pressing the same button, you're just going to hear that radio station. Even if you ask that button politely to play a different radio station, it still won't. And this is the thing, right? Like, we get to tune in and tap in and to really tune into what reality is. And it's kind of interesting, if I can have permission to go a bit extra quantum on you, one, because I can't help it, and two, because I'm sure someone will be served. You know, when you actually understand what's going on in the quantum, there are many different timelines and many different realities. And we're all on different timelines and realities. Even though we appear to be on one earth, sharing one earth, we are all experiencing things differently. And this is why two people could experience the same night or the same adventure and have two very different stories to tell you, because they are actually experiencing it through their own frequency and receiving very different things from it. On top of that, our frequency will, have us experience very different realms. So say, for example, there's two friends, Bob and Jane, and Bob and Jane decide to go on a mountain climb adventure. Jane is super happy, super excited. She's like seeing herself at the top of the mountain, looking at the views. She's just in the most greatest bliss. She loves climbing mountains. And what was
Bob.
Jane? Bob, thank you. I almost forgot Bob's name.
I got you, Bob.
Sorry, Bob. And say Bob, for example, is a little bit more apprehensive. He's afraid. He's feeling like, oh shit, what if there's snakes or dragons or bears or other things on this mountain that are going to hurt me? And he's worried. Does he have enough water? And so here's Jane. She's like, yeah, this is going to be awesome. And here's Bob right next to her, and he's catastrophizing. He's seeing himself. What if he breaks a leg? Or, what if all sorts of stuff happens? They start to walk the same friggin' mountain, side by side. And this is what's fascinating, right? The law of attraction brings us the exact experiences that match our frequency. That if our frequency is in a specific coding, that's what we're going to experience. So Jane is walking along, and so is Bob, yet Jane's experience looks like this. She's walking along, she's looking, and she's like, oh my God, seeing the views in the horizon, the most magnificent, beautiful green treetops, the luscious blue skies, the fluffiest white clouds that you can just reach out, give a cuddle to. They look so luscious. And she's like noticing certain beautiful flowers and the scents that are coming through. And she's just stepping along, having fun. Bob, on the other hand, is looking down at his feet, making sure he doesn't stumble. He misses the view. He misses the flowers. He doesn't even know that there's fluffy clouds in the sky. Then Jane, sees a beautiful little squirrel run past and climb up a tree. She's like, Bob, look. By the time Bob looks, the squirrel's gone. It's not there. Then, as Jane and Bob continue to walk, Jane goes, hey, let's go this way. And Bob's like, oh, I think I'll go this way. Then Jane beautifully climbs up to the next piece. Bob instead kicks a big rock and stubs his toe. And I'm sharing this story with you because the exact same mountain, right? Two very different experiences, two different timelines playing out together. At the end of this journey, I promise you, these two people are going to give you a very different description of what happened in reality, which tells us reality does not exist. It's our perception, and it's our frequency that then has us navigate, pivot, and explore it. And here's the most advanced part to this. Every single one of us around this planet are experiencing life through our frequency. which means that somebody out there on this planet, yes, indeed, is having a hard time. There are much worse things going on our planet and have been than this thing that's currently going on, right? There are, people starving and suffering, and there's like a lot of stuff going on. Now, here's the truth. I may know that certain countries have, poorer quality of life, yet I'm not experiencing it. The only reason I know that that's going on the planet is because we have connected through social media, through communications, and we can hear what other people's timelines and realities are like. And then, especially if you tap into the news, and that just tells you pretty much only all the crappy timeline stuff. It's just all the bobs, telling you of how life is going. Then we start to think that this is reality, that, oh my gosh, there's this and this and this and this going on. That's reality. It's not. It's just Bob's experience of it. It's not the truth. The mountain's not evil and bad. Bob is just a pain in the ass who can't get into his happy space. And this is really important to know, because when we're tuning in, especially now when we're receiving information about what's going on, I promise you, there's a stack of people on this planet that are not being affected by this, not even a little bit. In fact, they're actually really enjoying, their inner introvert is really enjoying some of the peace and quiet they get to have right now. They're having a completely Jane experience of this, and they're accelerating even faster. And I share this with you because the greatest illusion is there's one reality. And then if we allow ourselves to know that there isn't, we then get more choice. We get the choice to choose the timeline, choose the reality. And we get to choose by our intention and our attention. We are all powerful fractals of source consciousness. We're all creators. And whatever we give our intention and attention onto is sending light force energy into that reality. And so if we simply stop, putting our effort into that, your internet connection is unstable, it tells me. I hope we're still good.
You're good.
Look, the frequency nearly disrupted the internet.
I have a story. The universe wants all this out there, so I never have technical difficulties, so we're good.
Of course not. I love that. That's awesome. And so, so this is where I really want to, remind you we have choice. And of course, we get to choose whatever we want to. And of course, it's okay to fall into the illusion and to, get wrapped up a little bit in some particular realm of reality every now and then, yet at the same time, countless realities exist, countless timelines, countless choices exist. And like Noel said, we can tune into that we desire, and the more we tune into that we desire, that starts to create this beautiful flow of energy, this stream of attraction, and we call those realities in. So, yeah.
I love it. I love it. You just inspired me so much, and I'm going to quickly just share with you guys the only thing that I care about on the planet, at all, is what I can control, which is in this moment, what's my frequency? Energy, mood, vibration. You can use these words interchangeably. And if we can if that matters to us, it doesn't matter to everyone, and not everyone's aware enough to really even know that they have control over it. But how we're telling the story about whatever's going on is what's determining that. Like Gaby just said, where we're putting our attention and intention is what's determining that frequency. And the longer we focus on the news or something that we're telling a story about that has us feeling crappy, focus on it for 5 more minutes and you'll feel crappier for sure. So I'm just very aware of right now what my frequency is. And we know that we're being that light that Gaby described. We're tuned in, we're tapped in, we're expressions of source or God or love or universe or all that is infinite intelligence, whatever you want to call it. When we can at least be in this moment, can we be at peace? Can we be at content? Can we be chilling, being the inner introvert that you're describing? I'll be the first to admit that was a little bit challenging for me, extreme extrovert, the first few days. And then I released it. I just said, you know what? I'm going to do the things that I can control.
Yeah, you're like, you know what? I'm just going to do 10 podcasts a day. There's my connection.
That's true. Not so many, but I have done more stuff since, because I only have a more limited amount of choices to make. I can't go to the gym. I can't go to the beach. So these are things that I really love. So I was like, well, what can I do? I could do these things. So I'm going to do these because I enjoy them as well.
And I love that, it's asking better questions. What can I do? How can I? the worst question to be asking is, why is this happening? It's like, that just digs a bigger hole. Yeah, whereas when, like when you're like, okay, what else can I do? Okay, how is this of service to me? How is this serving me right now? How is this a gift to me right now? Yeah. And like ultimately for me, this is such a powerful time because right now, humanity is evolving. What's happening right now is part of a greater divine plan, and we literally have a quantum portal open right now, and it will stay open till about October, and it's amplifying our evolution and the law of attraction. And what that means is that we can shift and evolve so much more if we consciously choose to, deal with what's going on. So if something triggers us, and by this I mean if something has us, get angry, fearful, upset, which is a trigger of negative emotion, we then go in and we explore, like, what is this? Truly evolving to a place where, we're no longer attached to 3D reality requires to release control and to trust and surrender in our soul. And, just know deeply that we're always supported, that we're eternal beings, for goodness sakes, that in the scheme of eternities, most of our problems are like childhood issues, like dropping our ice cream or having someone tell us our red jumper's ugly, like in the grand scheme, a lot of the problems we deem to be quite large when we're still, within looking at reality and reacting to it, honestly, in a higher consciousness expression of ourselves. That's how they translate. And when, to me, the happiest people on the planet are the people that can maintain calm and, not get wrapped up into the drama of things and can stay observing, and this is such an important piece for business, obviously I support leaders and impact-driven leaders, and to have a big empire, to be looking after many people, have lots of staff and also a lot of clients to serve, we need to stay calm. There are problems that occur in, larger businesses that, we need to be able to unlock and become the version of ourselves that can easily handle them without freaking out. And this is it, right? This is those processes. So if there's anything happening in your life right now, know that this is the best time to shift. If anything comes up and triggers you, oh my gosh, go see a coach, a healer, a kinesiologist, do some personal development courses, read books, jump on all Noel's podcasts, work with Noel, for goodness sakes, and allow yourself to, to have a more conscious evolution journey, because you can expand and grow so much this year due to this portal. I'm talking like what could have taken 10 years in growth can happen in months this year. It's so freaking exciting, Noel. Yeah.
I'm so excited about it. I can see things evolving in my life and collectively, and the things that we already had momentum, moving towards. I'm sure you're the same way. It's just like there's just a vortex of energy behind it that's just like propelling it even faster right now. And it's an exciting time for everybody if we look at it that way, or we can look at it as like doom and gloom, and like, that could be your Bob reality as well, if that's what you want out there. So no, I love it.
And like also to really want to say there's no right and wrong. Bob and Jane are both beautiful. It's just that's the choices, right? And obviously there's more choices than that, yet this, for that metaphor perspective, we get to choose, and that free will is ours. And it's important to know this, right? Because that's what free will is. It's choosing, what frequency we wish to hold in our field, and not having the frequency be activated from external, not having it be that I look through my eyes and through my feelings at the world, and depending on if I'm talking to Bob or Jane, like if my external world is dictating my frequency and I'm talking to Bob, isn't it safe to say that that's going to then activate a lower frequency in my field, and I'm going to be stubbing my toe and all sorts of stuff's going on? And then you might go, well, I'll just hang out with Janes. It's funny in personal development, the one message is, your environment's everything. Choose the Janes of the world and your life will be great. And yes, of course, that's a better choice than hanging out with all the bobs, yet it's not empowering because you're still relying on the external world to dictate your frequency. The truth is we should be able to look at Bob and Jane and observe them and love them and have neither of them impact our frequency. And that's when we're playing such a more conscious game. Yeah, it doesn't matter what's going on externally. My frequency is my currency, my frequency is my choice. And I don't need my world to bend and shape and do what I want it to do so I can be happy. That's not the world's responsibility. In fact, my frequency is a mirror for the world, and it works the other way. And so for so long, humanity's been in this other pattern where they look at what is, then that dictates their feeling, and then they keep repeating that. And then if something good happens, yes, they can ride the wave of that. And then people can find themselves on a roller coaster like this. And then they say, yes, well, we live in duality and you have to experience different contrasts. And this is what it is. And there's so many teachers even out there teaching this, that this is reality. You will be experiencing these types of different contrasts. This is just accept it. Well, sorry, but no, there's more to it than that. You can ride higher waves. Really, that's not true. And it is all around this relationship with self. It is all around not needing the physical world to dictate anything to us. And then, oh my goodness, right? Then it doesn't matter what happens. This is when we look at anyone, there are people that have achieved a lot of financial success in their life, and they have the results of financial success. Now, then there are people that have those results and they're fully activated in abundance in their frequency. Now, if the person has the results but hasn't got abundance frequency fully activated, if they lose their business, if they lose anything right now, they will crumble and fall into despair. If a person who has the stuff but also has abundance fully locked into their frequency, it's not the stuff that's causing them to be abundant. Their abundance is creating the stuff. If the stuff gets taken away, they can easily rebuild it, remanifest it, and even, grow above what they had because of the frequency within them. And this is truth. Look around everywhere. And to me, this is the most important work, our inner frequency, not focusing on, making the external look so pretty, and focusing on what's in here and not giving a crap what other people think. So many people around the world will, kind of murder themselves, right, to achieve certain financial positioning, certain financial things, and all to try and fit in, to keep up. And for some people, they're in over their head, with expenses, trying to keep this whole thing going so it can all look pretty on the outside. Yet the reality is that that's not what creates our highest timelines of abundance. It is feeling abundant, being able to appreciate everything that we have, and just taking a beautiful journey in life and letting things unfold. And then no matter what gets thrown at us, we stay calm and we stay happy regardless of what's going on.
This is so much fun, Gaby. I'm so appreciative of this conversation. I knew we were going to have fun like this, and you guys that have been listening to this podcast for a while, you guys know why.
Super fun.